For a time, we tried to contact him by radio, but no response.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 19 of the Dumb Marks podcast, week 2 of the live edition. I want to first of all welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in last week. Last week was our most viewed episode to date, so round of applause for everybody that joined in. We appreciate the love, appreciate the attention. Glad to see people were commenting last week. Keep that up. We want to get it as interactive as possible. And, on a more global scale, big shout outs to our listeners in India and France. So India, based on some analytics, is the country that has the second most downloads for the podcast. So shout out to you guys over there halfway around the world. We appreciate you joining in, tuning in, listening. And gentlemen, how was your week?
The week was good. Finally passed COVID, and I was a free person on Friday.
We go out the COVID cave. That's another round of applause. Thanks for surviving COVID, Donald. Appreciate you. Glad to have that over and done with.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, okay. Jason, you guys have.
I flooded my bathroom. Which was a good way to start the week.
That was the McDonald's. That was the McDonald's you ate that week, right?
All I wanted was a new faucet. So I'm sitting there under the thing. I'm a YouTube kind of repairman.
No,
since I'm like a landlord.
That's
those
never
guys.
good.
Yeah. So I'm under the sink trying to change the pipe, and I accidentally ripped the valve out of the shutoff valve. Water was shut off from the shutoff valve. I ripped it out, and like in TV fashion, water just started spraying everywhere under an open sink. So shooting up and it's just cascading off the sink. I'm sitting there soaking wet, 6'3" on the floor. I get up, run downstairs to the basement, try to find my cutoff valve for the hot water at least. So I can't find my pipes because it's a 3-story apartment building and they're all coming down to the same general area. So I see 2 shutoff valves labeled 2 and 3. Mine's is there. So I shut off 2 to see, shut off 3 just to try. Nothing. So I found my pipes, work all the way back to where my shutoff valve is, and it's a nub, and it's busted off with no handle. So I'm trying to follow that line back to the main pipe, see if I can find the shutoff valve before then. And the next one is the furnace heater, and I'm not messing with that. So I shut off all the water because it's just raining buckets from the rafters, from the pipes. Shut off the water. So okay. I go upstairs and grab some pliers to shut off my valve that's busted, or that's with no knob. Shut it off. Everything's good. Turn the water back on. 2 seconds later, everything's coming back down. My valve doesn't work. I'm soaking wet. I'm pissed off. I have my good shoes on. So I have to shut off all the water. I got it plugged right now with some jimmy rig. But more of the story is leave it to the professionals.
You need some of that like Flex Seal tape on some of them pipes.
Yeah. Don't know your limitations. You gotta know your limitations with that. So
I mean, they taught me everything in what is it, wood shop in high school.
Yeah,
I learned all that. I should be certified.
You learned plumbing and wood shop?
Yeah.
That's what's wrong right there. That's
one year course,
right there.
1 year course, Botech. I'm a master of all trades, man.
Wow. All right. Well,
like shooting those rivets out of the air compressor.
Anything to make class fun.
Listen,
you're not Tim the Toolman Taylor. You know.
Yeah, I don't think indoor water park exactly means what you went for this week. That sucks. That really does. That sucks.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else story wise before we jump into some of the things that we normally talk about during the intro from TV, entertainment, movies, anything to that nature?
Nothing that tops that.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, I said last week, we're all fat kids at heart and follow with the introduction of new snacks that get introduced on a weekly basis. And this week, if this week was any indication, 2021 is not the year to get healthy based off of snacks that they put out this week. So I'm just going to run off the list here that I saved during the week. And you guys, if you want to chime in and say yay or nay to some of this stuff, feel free.
I'm going to just hold it there.
Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. So we have Captain Crunch is going to come out with the Captain Crunch's strawberry shortcake cereal. You got a thumbs up. Okay, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. All right. Kit Kat is releasing a fruity cereal bar. So it's going to be like a Fruity Pebble Kit Kat. Okay, you got 2-1 again.
Jason's just gonna keep his thumbs up the whole time.
Yeah, it's just standing there. It's not. It's gonna be hard to turn.
There's new Nutter Butter and Nilla banana pudding snacks. The Nutter Butters have pieces of Nutter Butter for the pudding, and the banana pudding has the vanilla wafers to put in. I'm a huge banana pudding fan, but I only eat my wife's and my mother-in-law's banana pudding. Other than that, I'm not touching banana pudding. We got to keep that to the professionals.
I like Nutter Butter. I hate bananas and I hate pudding, so that ruined it for me.
Okay. Funfetti ice cream is heading for a Fruity Pebble edition to celebrate the 50 years of Fruity Pebbles. All right.
Hate Fruity Pebbles. Come on.
Duncan Hines is serving up Fruity Pebbles cake. So again, Fruity Pebbles, celebration of Fruity Pebbles. Oreos, they have, Jason, I know you went into the Brookio.
Yeah, I don't have them on me. I ate them all.
Okay.
So they must have been good.
Good.
Double thumbs up. Okay.
They have they're also releasing a strawberry frosted donut, and the donut on the package looks like the strawberry donuts from The Simpsons. So
I'll try it.
All right. Klondike has a coffee donut inspired ice cream bar.
Oh, where you going? You don't put coffee and snacks together. No.
Okay.
Coffee ice cream is delicious.
Coffee in general.
M&M's has a new mix pack that combines 3 flavors. It's the original peanut butter and peanut. So 3 in 1 there. And then lastly, Fruity Pebbles is bringing out Fruity Pebble Crisps. So you can eat your cereal like chips. They're literally little circular chips that you can eat. And I almost forgot. This one is not the dessert kind or not the sweet kind. Totino's Pizza Rolls announced that they are releasing ham and cheddar Totino rolls. So I don't know if you guys are Totino rolls fans. I know my household likes Totino's pizza rolls.
Have you had the Takis?
I'm not a big fan of the pizza rolls, but
I just had it for the first time in years.
Have you had the Taki flavor?
I didn't hear what?
Have you had the Taki flavor?
No, I have not.
They're trash. Like they literally catch on fire in the microwave. Flaming hot, I guess. Yeah.
Jeez. I got in the mood for Totino's about a week or 2 ago. I was just like, God, next time I go shopping, I'm just gonna pick some up. And yeah.
So like I said, like if you like sweets and desserts, if this week is any indication on how the year is going to go, it is going to be a fat kid's dream, because that's a lot of stuff to come out in 1 week as far as snacks go and being released.
I got one more to add to that list too.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember back in the 90s, Breyers used to have the Viennetta ice cream. It looked like a cake and had the ripples, and looked
Yeah.
real fancy. Well, Good Humor announced this week that they're going to bring that back. I don't ever remember having it as a kid, so I don't remember if it was good or
I
not.
never had it. Was
I
there
always
coffee in
wanted to
it?
try. What was that?
Was there coffee in that too?
I don't think so. I think they did. I think it was just like a chocolate and vanilla combination.
Okay.
All right.
Something
Yeah.
else.
So yeah, if any of those interest you or you're a fan of any of those, by all means, look out for those when you're at the grocery store in the next couple of weeks. Stuff will be coming out. I'm sure we'll keep an eye on things as they pop up during the year to let you guys get your snack fix going on here. Donald, I know you give PS5 updates and that. I came across something this week, but I know you have something that you want to talk about first.
Yes, I saw this weekend that they reported the PS5 is actually tanking in Japan, and that's a shock because Sony is a Japanese company, and it's
Right.
actually tanking because in the Japanese gaming, the X button and the circle button are reversed from us. So their main button is circle, and their exit button is X, and they flip-flop them. So the Japanese gamers don't like that. Not sure why they did it, but they're not liking that. They probably contributed to PlayStation headquarters moving to California and taking a more Western approach on the system. And they also not liking it because the dubs from the American games over to Japanese are like the wrong translations. And they're also mad about it too because Japanese games that were supposed to come out on launch day didn't come out on launch day for them.
Yeah, so games that didn't come out. I came across this. Rockstar is releasing an expanded and enhanced version of Grand Theft Auto 5
Yes,
for PS5, Xbox X, and the Xbox Series S. And they are supposedly already working on GTA 6 for PS5, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X as well. So, Grand Theft Auto fans, if you want to learn how to be a criminal and date hookers and rob people for money, get excited because it's gonna come out and I guess remastered and enhanced more than what it was on previous releases.
A video game series that shaped a generation.
Man, do you remember when that came out and like, wow, like that was a an opening to another world that many suburban kids didn't know existed. And I'm sure that parents were happy with that.
So that's
I remember when I remember when GTA 3 came out. I find it anywhere for the PS2 at all. I find it at Toys R Us actually, when it was like the last one in stock. One of my friends worked there and just gave me the heads up on it.
Yeah, so there's that. The other things that I came across that caught my interest, normally stuff that we go over in the intro, we have Avengers Campus is set to open in Disneyland in this year, 2021.
Nice.
So all the big Marvel Avenger fans, if you're excited for that, I know like the Harry Potter scene down there is unbelievable. I'm expecting Avengers Land to be a huge success for them moving forward. And then I also saw, and this one's close to home because he's a Pittsburgh native, but Michael Keaton will play Batman in a 2022 movie.
The only Batman.
The only Batman. The original Batman, the only Batman is set to star in the 2022 movie. I guess they're going with kind of like how Marvel's doing with the Spider-Mans, something similar where you're going to have multiple Batmans with him.
Is it Flashpoint, Dawn? Dawn, is it Flashpoint?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm a huge fan of Michael Keaton as Batman. That's from the original Batman. That's the Batman of my childhood. And up until Heath Ledger played the Joker, Jack Nicklaus was for me my favorite Joker of all time. I'm not counting in the TV series, those actors, but as far as the movies go, Michael Keaton and Jack Nicklaus, that original Batman movie was like unreal when growing up. Whenever I first saw that, so
that almost set Superman was great in the 80s, but whenever they released the first Batman, that set the bar. It all came from that.
Yeah. So that's what I got for the intro this week for you guys. If anybody else got anything else to chime in with. Oh, one other thing. Legends premiered yesterday on Disney Plus. So Marvel Studios Legends. The first one was for Wanda. To kind of get you a little backstory and some interest behind Wanda and her character for the WandaVision that's getting ready to release. If you haven't checked it out, go on and watch it. It was done really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they put on for that episode or that show moving forward.
Yeah, and then WandaVision starts this upcoming Friday. So
right. Yeah, the first 2 episodes will be released this Friday, and then moving forward, it'll be 1 episode a week, kind of how they do like with the Mandalorian.
Get you to keep that subscription.
Yep.
I think I'm going to watch this week, but then I'll hold off until it gets closer to the end.
Yeah, I'm going to tune in this week just because I'm going to see it, see how they do it, and like we talked about this before. What is Disney Plus going to do to keep subscribers on? Because they haven't had a whole lot of original content since it's been released. Mm-hmm. This year, though, it's going to start to be pumped out at a rapid pace or as fast as they can with COVID. So look forward to the stuff that's getting ready to come on Disney Plus the rest of the year.
Yeah. And we got one more thing. See something that you posted on social media this week.
That's right. I forgot about this.
All right, so pick a mask and you get their powers.
Yeah, so I came across this and I just thought it was interesting based off of the ones that are on this screen here. Growing up, it was always, if you could have any superhero's power, who would it be and why? It was like a typical question in English classes growing up, or when you were playing superheroes with your friends or Ninja Turtles or whatever the case was before kids just sat in front of a computer screen or Xbox or PS5. We had to use our imagination and actually think that we were the superhero that we were playing with. So looking on this screen, just based off of these characters alone, who would you pick and why? And I guess we can stop at the top with Chris and work our way down.
Oh, Green Ranger all day.
Oh.
All you're going to do is blow to the little flute. That's all you're going to do. You're going to blow into the little flute.
I did that for Jason.
Play a little flutes and get like a nice little song with you fight punks and all that. That's about all you're getting.
No, my honest reaction, I think I kind of want to be Darth Vader.
That's not a bad choice. Vader, yeah, I can see that. All right, and that's it. No particular reason why. I just kind of want to be Darth Vader.
I like his powers. I think, if I could just be able to have a Zoom call for work and be able to choke somebody through it. Dude, yeah, that's game over.
All right. Donald, who you got?
I will take Wolverine because of his healing powers. Whenever he gets sick, he'll cure all the stuff. Eventually, he'll die from his adamantium poisoning. But as for right now, I'll pick Wolverine.
So Wolverine is the key to finding the cure for COVID.
It stopped the mutant infection. It stopped the mutant virus in the comic book. So, yeah, I think it could be COVID.
All right. Okay, so two picks so far, and one that I wasn't expecting. The other one, I figured one or more people would go with Wolverine. So, Jason, what do you got?
I'm going with Vader. I hated Star Wars all my life, but Vader was my favorite villain. top villain regardless. You get the Force, you get a lightsaber, and you get that badass helmet. I'm going with Vader.
All right. This one was tough for me just based off of what I would want to do. I brought it down to Spawn or Iron Man. I really liked Spawn growing up. That was like, for me, that was like the first. I don't know if you want to necessarily call him a villain that I thought was cool, or at least came across as a bad guy that was cool. But I got to go with Iron Man. The brains, the money, just the fucking cool suits that you have, and all the different things you could do. And I can see myself being the Robert Downey Jr. S character that was portrayed with him playing Iron Man. So I'm gonna go with Iron Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good pick.
For you guys watching, feel free, comment, chime in, let us know. If you could pick any one of these, who would it be and why? And we'll do some more of this stuff throughout the year with different things that pop up. We got something planned for you guys in the intro that you guys could play along with us moving forward, and hopefully look forward to getting some interaction during the show as well. All right, everybody good for the intro?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. With that, enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, gentlemen. Did everybody watch AEW this week?
I did.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but Cody Rhodes has a new show on TBS called The Go Big Show. Not sure if they mentioned that at all on AEW this week.
I didn't see it.
Just wanted to put that out there in case you didn't notice.
So yes, it was mentioned, and the ring skirts had Go Big Show, and the guardrail had Go Big Show, and the commercials throughout the show were for the Go Big Show. And I get it. I mean, hey, it was a success because the Go Big Show was the highest rated TBS show for the first time in the last 3 or 4 years. I think the article said whenever it came out.
They hit 1 million.
Yeah, so I mean, it worked. It got people to tune in. Like, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I'm okay with seeing the presentation and the marketing done on the ring skirts and the guardrails and all that, instead of hearing greatest match ever 900 times during a broadcast, or best of the best 900 times during a podcast, or not 900 times during a broadcast. So yeah, there's that, Jason.
Yeah, plus there was the fatheads in the crowd that they had.
Yeah.
Look, if you can give me a Jennifer Nettles sprawl clash, I'm here for it.
Well, we got a Snoop Dogg one, and as I tweeted to Sasha Banks, I said, "Get your cousin. You need to work on that 5-star frog splash." Hey,
I would say if WWE would have done that, you would have crucified him.
no,
I think Snoop might be the only person. I'm just saying. I think Snoop might be the only person that you can get away with that and be universally loved.
I mean, it's Snoop. He's an American icon, an American legend that has transcended rap and everything else. Like, everybody loves Uncle Snoop. Period.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, right?
I did watch the Go Big Show. He was funny as hell on the show.
Yeah,
his reactions and stuff were great.
Right. So, like, I mean, listen, anything Snoop does, I'm on board with. Like, it's Snoop. There's nothing else that needs to be said about it. However,
that's why I'm not bashing it today.
I'll give him kudos for being, in his 50s to climb up on the top rope and actually attempt the frog splash. Like, kudos to him. I know I listened to Cody Rhodes and Jericho on Jericho's podcast, and they were talking about filming the Go Big Show and that. And Cody's like, listen, people don't understand how intense Snoop is. Like, he was up at 7:30 every day. He had a team with him. He was working out for 2 to 3 hours, doing strength training, running shuttles in the parking lot. Like, Snoop puts in the work, and people just think, oh, it's Snoop. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, kudos to him for going out there and doing it.
And on the first episode, him and Cody went up. They climbed like this scaffold, like for for a dude like riding like a bicycle down the ramp. And it was so high up, like they were both like afraid to walk up it. But Cody and Snoop both got up there, and Snoop gets up at the top, and he goes, "I think this is the highest I've ever been." And Jennifer Nettles just looks and goes, "That's saying something."
Yeah, yeah. So
I like,
yeah,
I like when during the commentary, Jericho was like, "He's 9 foot tall. Why are you pulling him closer to the rope?"
he's a human piece of spaghetti. Like, how great is that?
And the way he fell, they definitely could have pushed the guy out a little bit more too.
Yeah, no, I'm good. But yeah, as far, I guess since you brought up AEW and the Go Big Show, we can start there and then work our way back to WWE and everything else in the world of wrestling this week. So obviously the big thing from this week's episode of Dynamite was the ending segment. We had the reuniting of the Bullet Club, standing tall in the middle of the ring as the show went off the air, everybody giving the too sweet sign. Gentlemen, your thoughts on this and where you think it may go in the future?
Cease and desist.
So apparently the cease and desist letter and all that might have been a work from what I've read and reports coming out this week since it happened. Unless that was one of the things that Cody negotiated and got whenever he was able to get the Rhodes name back and gave up stuff. Got WWE to let them use the too sweet symbol and throw it up. I don't see nothing wrong with it, but we'll see if it leads into something legal action from WWE with a true cease and desist.
I like the ending this week. I thought it was good. It was interesting. Leading up to Impact's Hard to Kill next week, you knew they had to do something at some point on AEW. So
right.
Bringing in the Good Brothers was smart. I definitely didn't see the Young Bucks being just thrown in this week. But we'll see. I don't even have any criticisms of it. I'm just interested in seeing where it goes, and I'm really interested in seeing where it goes next week between Impact, AEW, and the pay-per-view next week.
Yeah, for me it was it was done well. The match itself was great. I knew Omega and Phoenix were going to go out there and tear the house down. Those two are two of the best wrestlers in the world, and that freaking, I guess it would be like a leapfrog into the German suplex that Phoenix hit on Omega, where he landed on the back of his head. Like, I don't know how he broke his neck, because the one angle they showed, like, he literally came down on the top of his neck. It wasn't his shoulders, but that move was just Phoenix. Every time Phoenix is in the ring, he does at least one thing where I just sit at home with my mouth open, like that really just happened in a wrestling ring, and I'm not playing a video game, because he does shit that should be done in a video game.
That back body drop that he did, or back suplex that he did onto Kenny, where he was on the top rope and he like flipped into it. It reminded me a lot of the Canadian Destroyer, but for a back suplex.
Yeah, that's the move I was just talking about, you dumb Mark.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that was on the outside. My bad.
No, the one where
he on the outside. That's what I thought you were talking
about.
Oh
yeah, no, the one where he did But I mean, I knew they were going to tear it down. Moxley's promo earlier in the night led to him coming out, so like that was justified with him coming out. Him bringing the barbed wire bat. That's Moxley doing what Moxley does. I like how they build up. The Young Bucks were hesitant, so we'll see if they're fully on board or not. They questioned doing it. They ultimately did it. We'll see if it's all kosher and back together moving forward. But there was a couple people over in New Japan that weren't too happy about the situation that we saw closing the show on Wednesday night. Tama Tonga and Bad Luck Fale were out there and said the betrayal is real and cease and desist ! Question mark. So we'll see what transpires here moving forward with the Bullet Club, if they'll go by that moniker in New Japan.
Yeah, they were talking I think it was Don Callis that had used the term on Impact as the super elite. So we'll see if that's what they go as or if they use something else.
Yeah, if that's the name, I'm not with it.
Yeah, for
Donald, I
me,
know-
yeah, I got some stuff.
Go
The
ahead.
Phoenix and Omega match, I was very impressed with it. Actually, Mr. Dave Meltzer, he gave it a 5-star, five out of 5 stars.
That's
So
it?
figuring
Just
that's
5?
oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just 5.
Hey, listen,
and-
I don't mean to cut you off, but I know everybody bashes Meltzer for being an AEW homer and a New Japan homer and hates WWE and that. But when was the last time, or if ever, I don't know this, but when was the last time a weekly show match got a 5-star rating?
I don't know. That's a good
I
point.
have no idea. It was a great match, though.
Yeah.
It was. Mhm.
You got
But
any-
yeah, came in and they started the brawl and all that stuff. I was like, okay, this is good. Then the Good Brothers came in. I was okay with that. But then when the Young Bucks came out and kicked them and they did the whole Bullet Club thing, I was like, okay, enough's enough. I'm tired of seeing this. Probably because I used to watch New Japan and Ring of Honor and seen the Bullet Club enough, just to see that. It's just like it's retreading old wheels and all that stuff for me. So it seems tiresome to me. Even though they haven't been all together in a couple years and that stuff, it's just I've seen it done already. I was looking for something fresher with the Impact and AEW, stuff with them. Yeah, it's like I didn't need to see these guys together again.
Jay, what do you got? You're the harshest critic in the room.
My only gripe was like there's 2 different styles they wrestle with, like tag team and title matches are 2 different styles of matches. So like the same moves they're doing in the title match is being no sold in tag matches.
Give me an example.
Like it's so fast paced, they're just getting up and going to the next move in tag matches, where like in the title matches, you see them like feigning injuries and fatigue and all that.
Like specifically with like the main event this week in the opening match with the 8-man tag, like
no, like if you put those two same people in the tag matches, those moves are completely different and have a different impact.
Okay.
Because of the pace of a tag match. That was the only thing I was.
So if you have Omega and Hangman going up against Phoenix and Penta, some of the same moves that are done, if they were done in that tag match, they wouldn't be sold the same, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but I like the way they tell it in the title matches. It's better for wrestling and the story.
That I don't know if it was I forget what it was, but the spot where they were in like the middle of the ring and
the V trigger.
Was it the V trigger into the Phoenix hit in the kip up and then pop back right back up and hit him with the super kick and then they both hold it? Like I can see that being the case more than where like everybody super kicks each other in the face 2 or 3 times and then fall down. Like you know what I mean? But no, it was done really well.
It was a great match.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I don't know what obviously we know what was going on Wednesday night here in the US, and we won't get into that because we're not that type of show. We like to keep the mood upbeat and lighthearted, and you can go to other sources for that type of talk and conversation. The ratings were what they were given those circumstances Wednesday night. So both AEW and NXT dropped, even though both had big shows planned. For as far as night 1 for AEW, did you feel like it was a special show, or was it more just like a regular Dynamite?
Without the title match, it'd be a regular Dynamite to me.
I felt like it was just a little bit of a step up. It wasn't like a full pay-per-view to me but it felt like at least something a little bit better.
I mean, I the opening match, the 8-man tag was really good. You know, Matt Jackson thought he broke his leg in that match, which is why in the closing angle, you see Gallows go over and give a forearm shot whenever Nick super kicks him instead of both Young Bucks super kicking him because Nick wasn't sure or Matt wasn't sure how his leg was. But I thought the opening match was good. I really enjoyed Hager and Wardlow. I expect big things from Wardlow this year. To me, he's somebody that they can elevate, and I think you could have huge babyface with him if he turns on MJF. Like MJF's that slimy heel that can make Wardlow a true babyface, and I think Wardlow can come out of this looking as a top babyface for AEW moving forward during the year that can be a legitimate contender for the heavyweight title.
They've done a slow build of Wardlow, and I like that. You know, they didn't rush right into him, overuse him in any way. You know, they use him when they need him, and just let him be the muscle for MJF in the meantime. So that's a good way that you're not burned out too quick on him.
I mean, this was what his like third or fourth like longer term match. Yeah, like it was him and Cody in the cage, and then what? He was in the first round of the tournament against Hangman, and I think he may have had another match against Jungle Boy, but that was like it. He hasn't had a ton of matches, which, like you said, has kept him, fresh and mysterious and wanting to see what he can do. I think he has all the talent in the world in ring wise, and he got over huge in IWC here locally in Pittsburgh area. Their top star, one of their top stars. So I look forward to big things from him. I saw a lot of hate for the women's match between Shida and Abaddon. And I think what I got out of it was more not necessarily hate for those two in the match. We can talk about the match in a second. I just think it was more people's contempt or I guess gripe with AEW and their use of the women's division overall.
I can see that. The match didn't really do anything special for me. I was a little surprised at the finish, that it just ended so clean. I guess with Abaddon, I expected maybe there to be something different about the match. And it was pretty straightforward. But
I think you got the difference in how she had her offense play out during the match. I mean, like, she bit her on the thigh, she dragged her under the ring, bit her on the neck again.
Where's the 10 count?
What's that?
Where's the 10 count?
Well, it's 20 in AEW. It's not 10. 20. It's 20. It's like New Japan. It's 20.
I think they should pass that too.
Hey, that was a criticism in the title match. JR brought that up in the title match. Like, when's the ref going to count and get him back in the ring? And Jericho went back and forth with him about it. But JR will call stuff out when it gets egregious to the point where he knows it's pushing on nonsensical. And he's done it before. He's gotten heat for it, but I like JR doing that because to me it's keeping it on track and keeping it real. Like, hey, they need to get this back in the ring. This is where's the 10 count? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Like, I like JR calling that stuff out. It adds this a feel to the commentary booth.
I think the only company that really does the account and executes it well is New Japan. Like, they're usually right on top of it in matches. Other than that, I think every company's very lax with it.
What's the tag count?
20.
Yeah,
20?
It's just straight across the board.
Yeah, 20.
Okay. They'd be egregious with both of those.
Yeah.
So fast. Where WWE does the slow 10 count, AEW and New Japan do a fast 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see. Like we said, we'll see what comes out of night 2. Obviously, there was a change in the card for night 2. We are not getting Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Britt Baker now has her waiting room segment to debut on Dynamite. If you haven't watched that on Dark, go back and watch that. That segment is really good and has the potential to be one of the better talking segments that are done in pro wrestling right now. Britt Baker is tremendous with it. Thunder Rosa got pulled due to being in close contact with somebody that tested positive for COVID. So that match got pulled for safety reasons, and they're going to wait. So hopefully that feud can pick back up, and maybe we can get that on the pay-per-view instead of just on a Wednesday night Dynamite.
Yeah, but they're also going to be doing what is it? It's not Bash at the Beach now. I think is it just Beach Bash?
Beach Break.
Beach Break.
Beach
So
Break.
they're going to be doing that down in Miami. Either later in January or early February. So
yeah, because they're moving. So going forward, here they're going to move from Jacksonville away from Daly's Place due to the weather and the colder temperatures. They're going to move south and go to Miami and broadcast their shows in Miami for the foreseeable future. Warmer temperature. Obviously, if you have wrestlers outside wrestling in 40-degree weather, it's not a great working environment. And some of the talent were not necessarily complaining about it, but it did get raised up to where they're going to make the move. Don't know if they'll be outdoors in Miami or if they have an indoor venue set up for them to go down there and use. But that'll be moving forward here shortly into the foreseeable future, going forward with that. So
CW Spring Breakout all over again.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other thoughts on AEW from this week before we jump into the world of WWE?
I'm interested to seeing if there's any fallout from the final second of the main event. I didn't bring this up before. That I don't know if you guys.
His shoulder.
Yeah, like he definitely kicked out.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if he maybe just miscounted, and thought it was after the 3 count or what. But it'll be interesting if they bring that up at all, if they continue another match or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put him right back in the title picture, and set up for another match where you can come out and say, "Hey, that 3 is not legitimate." We can let's go at it again. So whether it was done on purpose, don't know, but like you said, it's something to keep an eye on for booking moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's hop over to Donald's favorite topic of the week, Legends Night, Monday Night Raw.
As we glossed over Sting.
As we glossed over Sting?
I mean, we'll cover that, I think, next week. That's when they're having their match. So.
Well, no, but I did see, since you did bring up Sting, I did see a lot of back and forth on Twitter that, Sting coming out and just standing in the ring every week is kind of getting repetitive and they need to do something.
Yeah.
So not necessarily the novelty of seeing Sting on TV is worn out. The way that they're using him has worn out, and something needs to change with that here moving forward. Don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. I like the fact that, him and Darby together, I'm okay with him kind of being Darby's mentor if they're going to go that route and have him, take Darby under his wing and move Darby into that, basically giving Darby the rub, to elevate him and make him a bigger star than what he is already.
Yeah, I think next week, with them doing, they're finally having a match. It's not going to be an in-ring segment next week. At least it'll be something different. We'll see what they have in store.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, I'm definitely like Leroy from The Last Dragon right now. I'm out here. The Saturday morning podcast Messiah is here, breaking everything down for you guys. But no, let's hop over to Monday Night Raw and Legends Night. Donald, you can fire away at this because I got a feeling all 4 of us may be on the same page right now.
I didn't watch it, but I'll sit back and enjoy.
So I actually timed this, and it was 22 minutes and 55 seconds that the Legends had FaceTime throughout the 3 hours. That could have been actually 22 minutes or like 22 minutes going to somebody else. Could have been a whole match.
To
anybody that's not them. Anybody. I mean, I would have gave that 22 minutes back to Keith Lee and to Drew for that. They could have had an Iron Man match for that. And then after that, you put them in. You put them on the ramp and all that stuff. Super spreader event, but we won't talk about that. No.
Everybody was tested. Everybody was tested. Let's not put that out there. Everybody was tested.
And then after that, every single segment that a legend had was completely pointless. Completely pointless. So you're gonna start it off with Hogan, brother, this, just like Mustafa Ali said for the 27th millionth time. You don't have to take me back to 1985 for this.
Pause.
You want to see Mustafa Ali? You want to see Retribution?
Hold on. Pause.
You want to see Retribution?
Pause. Time out. Pause.
You don't have to take me back to that. Pause. To what?
Retribution.
What, to promote Instagram? To promote Facebook? To promote what? Again, to promote what? What are you doing?
All right, pause. Let me get this back on track. Hold on, because you brought up things that I wanted to talk about and kind of get everybody's view on and keep up the hostility. I love the dissension between the right side of the screen here. But, okay, so you hit on the main points of the night. One, the legends were only on screen for a minimal amount of time. 2, they were only shown in backstage segments. 3, Mustafa Ali and his rant on Raw Talk, which again is better than Raw, which it's just a talking show. He hammered home everything that you're saying. Now, I get Jason's point as far as who do you give the time to, how do you spread that out, and everything else. Chris, to your point, I think it was you during the shouting match, but I don't want to say I
just sat back and laughed my ass off.
So I don't want to say that every single segment with the legend was pointless. Okay,
the Orton stuff was good to me. He could have berated every legend to me.
That's what I was going to bring up. Orton going through and running down Big Show, Flair, Mark Henry, which, by the way, anybody that listens to Busted Open Radio and loves Dave LaGreca and a Dave LaGreca rant, go onto the Busted Open Twitter page and listen to Dave LaGreca's 2.5-minute rant on him banning Randy Orton from the Busted Open show forever because of the way he talked to Mark Henry on Raw. It's hysterical. It's great video. Mark Henry, it was him and Mark Henry that were hosting the show, so they were talking about Raw the night before. And Mark Henry is just sitting on camera cracking up. Like he's laughing his ass off. But it's done really well. I thought the thread with Orton going through the night was good. However, I think they missed the ball with the fact that he wasn't involved in the main event with the legends out there. So what was the point of him running every legend down if you're not going to have him be in the main event that ties all the legends together? That to me was a miss on their part.
It didn't get Goldberg messed up in accusing Drew of all that stuff.
So
put the icing on the cake, which has been like legends gone. Dementia, all in there.
So with that point, I'll bring this to you for us to discuss. So I don't know I guess Drew and Keith ran a little bit longer as far as the match went. Originally, if the rumors and the tea leaves, originally after the match, Drew was supposed to get on the microphone, cut a promo, and then Goldberg would come out and say what he said. Due to the fact that they ran long, Goldberg was the only one to come out. Instead of ad-libbing and changing the script that he was given, he ran with the retort promo and went down the script with it. So as we're watching, I'm like, did I miss something? Like, I know I was flipping back and forth, but this makes no sense at all. And here it's because the match ran long. Drew didn't cut his promo, so it came off just out of left field from Goldberg saying what he said about Drew made no sense at all. So if you're a quote unquote legend, how do you know not to go out there and ad-lib that because Drew wasn't able to do what he was supposed to do in the first place?
Because he's trash on the mic.
No. That's when you grab him in Gorilla and tell him, hold up, something's not right. So you got to do this. They had enough time to do that. They knew how much time was rolling on in the show.
Listen, obviously people, like Chris said, drank the Kool-Aid and tuned in for
yes,
Raw.
fans.
But
You know, viewers went up. Whether that's because it's the first Monday without Monday Night Football and they got some football viewers back, we'll see how that plans out. They're going to take a big hit this coming Monday with the national championship game coming up. So I expect those numbers to drop back down. But
does Raw give you a Legends night every year? Yes.
yeah, but
Or
this
a
one,
retro night.
but this
every
one,
year.
this one was one of the worst ones that they've done, in my opinion.
And the only reason, and plus the only reason they did that too was just to grab the rating. There wasn't
Oh,
nothing special
absolutely.
about the speaker or
They give you a
anything.
Legends night every year, though. Why are you
Yeah,
complaining?
but it might have been something
Every
on like an
year.
anniversary or something. They just did this out of the nowhere because the ratings were down a
They
couple
give you
weeks ago.
random.
So
there's
we're
an
just going to
anniversary
pull out a
every year?
Legends night.
There's an anniversary every year.
Yeah,
There's an anniversary every year.
Yeah, for how long WWE been on a Raw, there probably is an anniversary every year. There's probably
They
a
give you
DX
Legends night
anniversary
every year.
coming up somewhere.
This is the
There's
one
probably an
this year.
Xbox anniversary coming up somewhere. There's probably a Kevin Nash anniversary coming up somewhere.
All right.
Donald's not wrong, Jason. I mean, they celebrate the 1000th episode, the 1500 episode, the 1150. They do something every year for either a celebration of that or a Legends night.
And
I
for
agree
the
they do it every year, but sometimes they don't even do it like
you
when it
can't
happens. So take when SmackDown's anniversary was last year. It was like back in August, and then they saved it for October to get the ratings on Fox. It's like, so they do it for a ratings grab.
But they do it every year, so there's no sense in complaining.
No, I get what you're saying. I get both sides of the coin. I do. Both ends are not wrong in this situation. My only issue with it is when you do it, it has to be good. This just continued Raw not being good.
What wasn't good about Raw?
There was a lot of stuff that wasn't good on Raw.
Every match was solid except for Dana and AJ and Elias. Every match was a good match. Now you can kick out that Miz segment, that Miz and New Day segment. That was terrible.
Okay.
But every match was a decent match.
Correct. Throw that shit out. Okay.
Lashley Riddle was a great match.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't necessarily need the match because if you're going with Lashley and Riddle at the Rumble for the United States title, which is rumored to be, don't give me 3 weeks worth of them working different matches. They already had the Hurt Business versus Hardy and Riddle. Then they had the Hurt Business versus Hardy and Riddle in a New Day. Now I have Lashley and Riddle. Like you're building up feuds just with matches instead of with story. Where's the
You want
story?
them out there every week like Taz and Darby Allin, just wasting up time, just talking to each other.
But that's the
You want?
But that's the story. Where's the story? I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that AEW is perfect with it. I get what you're saying, but for me, Raw is, and this is converse to SmackDown, and we'll get into this where like this is a difference. Raw is building feuds strictly on matches. There's no story to get me invested in the people that are fighting in the match. You're just having matches. SmackDown, there's story. So, like, I don't need to see 17 different iterations of Lashley and Riddle whenever the payoff is supposed to be at the Rumble for the belt. Give me a story as to why those two are fighting besides the fact that they had 17 matches leading up to the pay-per-view and now it's going to be for the belt. I didn't say the matches weren't good. I just said it's not good because there's no storyline on Raw.
You're downgrading the whole show because of storylines and not matches?
If I'm not going to be
And-
invested, if I'm not going to sit for 3 hours just on matches alone.
Trust me, I don't like Lashley or Riddle. It was a good match. It got me sit there to stay there and watch it.
But are you tuning in to Raw every week and watching 3 straight hours of programming just because of the matches?
I'm watching just because it's Raw. I'm watching because it's wrestling. Same reason I watch AEW, because it's wrestling.
He's WWE Jason for a reason.
It said AEW.
And then for that, they could have took that 23 minutes they had on the Legends and put it to the active roster.
Retribution, huh? The one y'all bitch about every week? Or you want or
They could
Gulak?
have did something with them.
But
They
here's
could have
the
did
thing.
something with them. They
And
could
we'll
have did
be on here.
something with the women.
Tearing it down this week.
Jay, did you listen? Did you watch Ali on Raw Talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so you brought up Retribution and Drew Gulak, which is who he mentioned
right.
in his talk, right? Yeah. Were you more entertained by what he did on Raw Talk than anything that they've done on Raw?
No, not really. I really don't care about what is Ali's delivery. It just doesn't sync with me. So
I just think there's like you have more character development out of your people on Raw Talk than what you
But
do on a 3-hour show on a weekly basis.
but he's not saying anything they don't want you to say.
I don't know.
So he's giving you a scripted thing that's going to get you to probably tune in next week to see.
I just think
Iggy's complaint is kind of like how I complain about AEW with Dark and like BTE, is that it's just like you have to watch everything in order to be in the know for it. And whenever you have something that good on Raw Talk, I think Steve's saying that should be on Raw, not on the after show.
But that's not 22 minutes.
no, it's not. But I mean, like Ali this week, Ricochet the week before, like that stuff will help your show if it's actually on the show. Because if people don't watch Raw Talk and people don't pay attention and they don't read the TVs and the dirt sheets and the different wrestling websites that are out there and you just watch Raw week to week, there's no point in being invested in what they're doing. So, like, my only gripe is that why can't you take that formula that's working on Raw Talk and factor it into a 3-hour show on Raw? Because the shit that they're doing on Raw that's not in-ring work, not all the matches have been great, and that can be said for any show. But if you're just relying just on matches alone, people are not going to tune in and stay tuned in. Any wrestler has said that going back to however long you want to go back in pro wrestling. Bully Ray talks about it all the time. You have to have characters, you have to have story, you have to have intrigue and investment. I'm not just going to invest in moves in a ring. There got to be something else to get me invested besides just moves in a ring. Other than that, it's just moves in a ring.
AEW's tag division. Moves in the ring.
AEW's tag division told a year-long story with Hangman and Kenny Omega.
That's two people. In a deep
champions.
In a
It
deep roster.
was a year-long story that revolved around the champions.
In a deep roster.
And then you had FTR and the Young Bucks story.
In a deep roster.
I love Jason.
Why are you
Let's
all those other
give
people
him an example, and then he shits on your example.
But
So why are we having all those other tag matches?
You're not.
Just
So
to have matches.
listen, if you go.
You just gave me 3.
So what about Raw and SmackDown's tag team division?
There's 2 teams. There's 4 teams. 2 teams.
You have 2
And you
teams.
see
on
the same
each
match
show.
every week.
Can you name more than 4 Raw? Can you name more than 4 Raw and SmackDown tag teams combined?
More than 4 combined?
Yes. So like New Day,
Active? No.
New Day, Rude and Ziggler, Street Profits, and Hurt Business. And I only rattle off those 4 because those 4 have just wrestled each other 900 times. And
Miz Morrison, and you got
who else?
You got the one that's on the shelf, the War Raiders.
When was the last time they were on to even be referenced in that?
But you said name a tag.
But my point,
Active.
I told you they're not active. I just named that.
like
They're not active, but War Raiders.
but AEW for what you're saying, as far as tag teams go, AEW, there is story with the tag teams. You have, like, right now, you have the Young Bucks and the Acclaim that have been going on. There has been story, not just matches with them, right? You have TH2 and the Young Bucks. There was story there for the TH2 to get a match because they attacked the Young Bucks. FTR and Jurassic Express. There's story there.
What story? You run down Marco and then you got a match next week?
No, Jason, this is what I was saying, which is part of my problem. They do a lot of the story on Dark and on BTE. So it might not always be on Dynamite, but they're doing a story. But if you don't follow those shows, how do you know that there's a story? And that's what I'm kind of saying about Raw Talk, too, is that if you do this great stuff on Raw Talk, if you don't watch it, how do you know it's there? You're not telling me that all the same people, that the 2 million people that tuned into Legends Night tuned into Raw Talk afterwards.
But then it's the same thing.
No, I agree. It is. Back in the day,
But I'm just saying,
when we were growing up,
there's no story. There's story. You just don't know it because you're not watching everything. But there's story.
I don't
So
think
her business in what is it? Riddle isn't telling you a story every week.
What's the story?
But they're telling you a story.
What's the story? Tell me the story. What am I getting invested for? Matt Riddle not being able to hand out bro nuts.
Bro nuts. You disrespected my man's ideas. It may be stupid, but it's a story.
Move on to SmackDown. We'll move on to SmackDown.
It's a story.
Bro nuts is a story.
Yep.
You need to go eat a bro nut now. That's what you need to do. Go eat a bro nut. Go have a bro nut. Take a Snickers commercial. Go eat a bro nut. You're angry when you're hungry. Come back after you get a bro nut. That's fucking guy.
So when we grew up on wrestling, back in the day, WWE had like Superstars, Mania, All American Wrestling, and multiple other weekend shows. Yeah, they had matches, but their main priority was to recap, and I think that's needed again in wrestling. Is just to have some sort of weekend recap show on all sides. For WWE needs it, and I think AEW needs it.
I don't. I can see your point in that, but here's the thing, right? If you're going to have a recap show, so you're going to have 3 hours Monday night, 2 hours on Friday night, and then you're going to have an hour-long recap show for both shows on Saturday. So you want me to watch 6 hours of WWE programming, not counting NXT.
No, just give me the hour recap show.
See, that's the issue. All right, so obviously we're getting Drew and Goldberg at the Rumble, which shifted from Drew versus Reigns. So I'm okay with doing that, given the circumstances. We'll move over to SmackDown. SmackDown last night, we saw a new tag team champs crown. Rude and Ziggler beat the Street Profits. I don't know if Montez Ford is legitimately injured, and that's why they dropped the belts. I know the week before they played it up with Ziggler swinging the chair onto his knee against the ring post and build up that injury angle. So we'll have to see going forward. But if he's injured, it's story based on the fact that the man is legitimately injured. And if he's not legitimately injured, then okay, you did a week-long storyline, 1 week.
They've been feuding for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Did you care that Rude and Ziggler won the tag team belts?
Not at all.
Then it doesn't matter because you don't care. You're not invested. Doesn't matter.
Brought this up before. WWE has done their best to make you just not give a shit about Ziggler and Rude.
Yes.
It's like that with a lot of talent. It's not just Ziggler and Rude. It's like that with a lot of
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
So-
Ziggler, for the company Ziggler, I mean, they buried him so much. It was like, why do you even care? Like, why do you even care?
So again,
Bobby
I'll go-
Roode. Yeah, Bobby Roode haven't been relevant since NXT.
No.
So-
I'm doing SmackDown afterwards. Didn't do much after SmackDown though.
But not much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, again, the main thing on SmackDown, which was good, which was the thread throughout the show, which has been the thread throughout the show, was Roman Reigns. And the story that they continue to tell with him being head of the table and running his island the way he wants to run his island. This has been long-term storytelling, and they've continued to add layers onto it. I'm
That
not mad.
was way too long.
I'm not mad that he's facing Pierce at the Rumble. Like, whether or not they actually go with that match, I don't know. Maybe they will, but you can with the story that they're telling, and they still have additional weeks to tell it. It can make even more sense than what it does right now, based off of his character and what's gone on with him since he's been in this position.
I felt like they messed the ending up of the show a little bit, and I'll explain why. Because I at this point I think they're gonna have Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble and go on to face Roman at WrestleMania just to give.
He's now the betting favorite to win the Royal Rumble since Goldberg is wrestling Drew at the Rumble.
And I kind of felt like they had that opportunity last night where they could have had Roman or Jay or whatever at the end beat up Daniel Bryan and have Adam Pearce beat up Daniel Bryan for the match instead. Like I felt like that could have continued on that storyline a little bit more.
But do you think they just put Shinsuke in the picture somewhere?
See, I like what they did with Shinsuke.
I did like that.
Nakamura is a main event player, and you've had him with Cesaro. Nothing wrong with him and Cesaro together, but it's what WWE does.
Yeah.
Like, Nakamura has been irrelevant since he dropped the championship after he feuded with AJ. And last night, just like when Kofi ran through the gauntlet match, it brought back, oh yes, this is the Shinsuke Nakamura that was in NXT. This is the Shinsuke Nakamura that I heard about coming over from New Japan. This is the guy that I want to see on my screen every single week. If you're upset with him because you don't like his English and the way he speaks, then give him a mouthpiece. That's what you used to do back in the day. Give him a mouthpiece. The man is money in the ring. He can go in the ring. There's no reason why he should just be floating around in obscurity whenever your roster is as light as it is with not having top tier talent or talent that can step in for somebody else that was supposed to be the person if circumstances change.
So do you see them two in a match after the Rumble?
Shinsuke and Roman?
Huh?
Shinsuke and Roman?
Or Jay and Shinsuke.
I can see that based off of last night that they're leaving that out there, that they can circle back around and bring that back up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what is out there? Is it Payback afterwards?
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. Don't they do Roadblock 2 before Rumble?
Yeah, one of those stupid ones.
Sometimes they flip them, and then sometimes they've done both. So we'll have to wait and see what they do.
But I mean, like, at least with SmackDown, like you still have Owens, who's out injured right now based off of the angle from last week. You have Daniel Bryan, Jay, and Roman, which has been going on for a while, right? And now, if they choose to, you can have Shinsuke based off of last night. So you have 3 people that you can go to based off of how you want it to unfold. But at least there's 3 options.
Yeah.
And you have plenty of time if you do want to run with Shinsuke, you have plenty of time to build him up between now the Rumble and then Mania. Not saying that he's going to be the guy to face Roman at Mania, but you have that time. So like I just don't see I just don't see the correlation with Raw side of things, like as I do with SmackDown. SmackDown, at least I have 3 options that I know they can go to based off of how they want to write it. Raw, I don't see anybody, which is why they brought Goldberg back.
You have Keith Lee and Sheamus.
But you gave Lee his shot on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Was
it not out of the match?
Do you see Keith Lee as a main event individual right now?
Me? No. Other people do. I don't.
But I'll say the same thing I said for Kevin Owens a few weeks ago. Okay, so you had Sheamus beat Keith Lee. Why should Keith Lee get another shot now? Or not Sheamus. Drew McIntyre beat Keith Lee. Why should Keith Lee get another title shot?
Because of what he showed you in the ring. That was a hell of a match.
So he lost, but he deserves another shot.
Go ahead, keep talking. I gotta bow out for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing him run that back.
Yeah, that's my only. That's one of the problems I have. We'll go back to logic again. So you have someone lose a match, and then you keep giving them title shots. Just because they had a good match doesn't automatically mean they get another title shot, though.
Eddie Kingston.
Yes. Eddie Kingston, Kevin Owens, and now I add Keith Lee. Like, just because they had good matches doesn't mean that they deserve another title shot. Whenever, especially in WWE, whenever they have this stipulation now that if you lose your title, you don't automatically even get a title match, a rematch. So
sometimes that stuff could drag on forever too.
Yeah,
that could drag. Cause remember AJ and Shinsuke? They went 4 times in a row on pay-per-views.
Yeah, and like and Jason, you were talking about the rankings a couple weeks ago. It's like, okay, so there's
Edge and Orton, not Edge and Orton, McIntyre and Orton. Is that what you said? On
went on way too long. They had a good match, and then they just kept doing it. And just because you have a good match doesn't mean that it needs to continue.
But he's not next up. He's not next up though.
No, but you had your shot. You fall into the line. That's how it's supposed to go.
But he's still in line.
If you lose, you're out of line.
Nah. That's not how it works in AEW.
All right.
Yeah, that is. I mean, they do that in AEW because, and this was your problem in the rankings a couple weeks ago, where we said, they got their shot, they fell back in line, and then you thought they should get another title shot again because they're still ranked at number 1, and it's like, they might still be ranked because of their record. But they had their shot and they lost, so they don't get another title shot again. They have to earn that.
But Goldberg's up next.
Yeah, don't even get me on that.
Goldberg's up next. You still have Keith Lee in position. He's not getting another back-to-back title shot.
But he's got to earn it again.
They'll work their way up to that.
I'm okay if he gets another. I'm not saying that he should never get one again. It's just, I just don't think that he deserves one like that.
All right, let's hop off main roster and let's jump into NXT, and then we'll cover the rest of the world in pro wrestling. NXT this week, we saw New Year's Evil, their takeover mini me special that they did this week. I thought, as far as like comparing it to say Halloween Bash and other, I guess, mini specials that they do, this one came off as I guess the least effective, if that's the way you want to word it, from like an excitement and a presentation standpoint. And I honestly thought the only matches that stood out and that need to be discussed is Raquel and Rhea, and then Balor and O'Reilly.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, the rest of the card was what it was. Not to say that the matches weren't good, but like I thought Cross and Priest didn't come off well on TV. Those two just don't mesh well in the ring together. And and that was the case there. Escobar and Metalik was what it was, but the cruiserweights are forgotten about, even though I think you have somebody in Escobar who could legitimately, have the cruiserweight title and division mean something. And I thought that's what they were going with whenever they were running with him and Swerve and Jake Atlas and that, but then that cooled off completely. So thoughts
outfit, though.
Huh?
Said that Megazord outfit though. That was a highlight.
I didn't catch. What was the highlight?
Did you say his Megazord outfit? You didn't notice that?
Oh yeah. I did. I saw the picture he tweeted out with him next to it. But no, like I said, I thought the two main matches that I felt worth us jumping into was Balor and O'Reilly, and then Rhea and Raquel. I don't know which one you guys want to go to first. I'll open the floor, and one of you can start the discussion.
Let's start with Rhea and Raquel. I thought it was a great match. Rumor has it that this was the final match between the two of them. So if it was, I thought it was a great, way to close the chapter of this story.
Yeah, Rhea's supposed to be going up to the main roster.
Yeah.
Her and Priest. Priest, they already screwed up Priest's debut. He was supposed to debut last week in the main event angle with Roman and KO and that, but they changed that at the last minute.
Priest can go back to Ring of Honor for all I care. But
Rhea
going in, I wasn't really. I liked Raquel. I think she's a great talent. I didn't think that she was there yet. At the end of this match, I kind of felt like, I'm not saying she's there, but it definitely elevated her. Her stock rose on Wednesday night, at least with me.
Yeah, I can see her holding the women's title by the end of the year.
Yeah. If they keep this going, if they keep her momentum going, yes.
Yeah, if you're gonna run with with Io and Mercedes, you have Toni Storm there, but I think by the end of the year you can see Raquel holding that women's title and being the next person to put her name on the women's division moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a match, and what I really liked about it, last man standing matches are always hard, right? Or last woman standing are always difficult because you have that count break every time there's a move that's down, right? I think they did a really good job on getting to their feet quicker when the moves didn't justify a full 10 count. Mm-hmm. The bigger moves, they took longer to get up to 10. It wasn't every move that put one or both of them down. The count went to 8 or 9, and then they staggered to their feet miraculously before 10. They did a good job throughout the match of, okay, hey, we're down, but I'm back up at 3 or I'm back up at 4 because that move wasn't as devastating, so I should be back to my feet sooner. Which I
didn't
think
feel like they overused the count either.
What's that?
I didn't feel like they overused the count either.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's why I said it was done really well for it being a last woman standing match. It was one of the more enjoyable last man standing matches that I've watched in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And then
I like the tackle in the hallway that they Rhea gave Raquel.
Through the door?
Yeah, through the door.
Yeah.
I hate when they use glass though. Because you got to come out like Cody.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's my only great.
I like the Dakota spot. Her running in with the kendo stick and then getting shoved into the locker, which was great. But I like it for the fact that it meant, like, to your point, Chris. So before, Raquel came in and was just strictly the muscle for Dakota, right? And she would always be the one to make the save. Well, now Dakota's coming in this type of match, which is justified, and helping her out and making her the save. So she's elevated to where she's not just Dakota's muscle anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's subtle and you may not pick up on it, but it was done to show like, hey, she's no longer just my muscle. We're equals now. It's Raquel and Dakota, not just Raquel or Dakota with Raquel.
Did you see Dakota's tweet after the show?
Yeah, it was great.
I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was just something along the lines of, "Hey, you guys still out there?"
Yeah, at Triple H, and then Hunter followed up like 2 days later. Oh, somebody better check on Dakota. Like that was really good as well. So
I think Rhea replied, "I'm coming for you."
yeah. So
Raquel.
and then the main event. Rarely do sequels live up to the hype, but I thought Balor and O'Reilly was just as good as the first match at Takeover.
Yes,
It was good. Yeah.
I think it lived up to it, and
They beat the shit out of each other again. And
I just hope neither one of them got injured this time again.
well, they both were taken to the hospital after the match. They did come out and announce that. So yeah, you hope Balor with his arm and then O'Reilly with his jaw. So you know whether or not they're just playing up, the bite rope in the match and continuing that. Hopefully, neither one of them are legitimately injured. Like I said, I figured Balor would win, and then we'll get Cross and Balor at the next Takeover.
Do you see O'Reilly as a champion?
See, I don't know. Like, I think because Cross got injured, like you almost have to give it back to Cross.
Yeah.
And
that's coming, but like in the future, do you see?
I
definitely see him as an NA champion if they ever chose to do that.
I think you're going to get, and hopefully this is what you get. I think you're going to get Balor with NXT UK and him taking the belt off of Walter.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling once he.
Yeah,
because that's where they were going before the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
and right now that's scheduled for June. So
yeah, so
plenty of time.
You may have that time. I did find it interesting, and I don't know if this is going to lead to anything or what, but like when all of Undisputed came out after the match and O'Reilly's in the corner, like Balor walked over and he's looking down at them four and they're looking up at him. Like I don't know. I thought it was interesting to see if we're going to get something moving forward with them five.
Like business wasn't finished yet.
Either that or I don't know. I mean, Balor was the one to bring Undisputed back with Pat McAfee and that. So, like, I thought that was a little not weird, but like, okay, is there something more to this? Because you had Balor bring them back. And then that stare down and acknowledgement and look between the five of them after the match. Again, just something that I'm curious to see if that will be anything or if it was just, something to do at the end of the show. All right. Anything else from NXT you guys want to touch on?
Just to touch on like what we got coming up. This upcoming week, the Dusty Classic starts. And then during the show this week, they announced that they're going to do the first ever women's Dusty Classic.
Right.
That's a lot of tag matches. It's going to be a lot of tag matches at one time between the men and
I think it's going to be further down, right? It's going to be a separate time.
Yeah, they didn't announce when, but I don't know if it'll compete right after, but still, that's going to be a lot of tag matches for when that's ready too.
I mean, they're deep enough,
So would the winners of the female, would they get a shot at the tag titles then? You think?
They should.
They didn't say, but that's a good point.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
You think?
Wouldn't mind seeing Asuka and Charlotte holding on to the tag titles until that happens.
I've seen people online bitching about the name. People who don't watch wrestling, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Why wasn't like Mae Young or somebody else's name? Like it's Dusty.
Yeah,
He got integral part of it.
Yeah, Dusty did just as much or more for the women of NXT than he did for the men, and you heard that throughout the years from all the women that came up during that time period in NXT. So I got no problem keeping Dusty's name on both the men's and women's, classic if they're gonna do this moving forward.
Said, why not name it Sapphire?
The next takeover is going to be on February 14th. I'm always conflicted whenever they use old
Valentine's Day Massacre.
But yeah, if they don't use St. Valentine's Day Massacre for this, they're dropping the ball.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's that early, but I guess their
I don't do that.
takeover schedule has changed. It's not just piggybacking on the big four anymore,
Yeah.
like it used to. So I guess you
For
can't
now.
really, expect them to keep that same schedule.
Do you want to see more takeovers, or you think they were fine with what they were? What was it, 5 or 6?
Initially it was just the big four. So you had one around Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm. Then they threw a random one in there somewhere.
Yeah, and then so like I don't need if you give me like one every say.
Maybe
I can get up to like
one every 2 months.
Eh.
I mean, 6 to me is good, but I wouldn't want to go like a full.
I'm okay with doing 6 if you're gonna sprinkle in these special events that they're doing on Wednesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need more than 6.
No.
Especially with the way NXT books themselves, and they made a point. Hunter made a point to come out and say, "Hey, we're booking with long-term storytelling in mind, so we're going to keep that as it is."
I think once the pandemic's over and they start getting back into their normal schedule, we'll see the NXT back to like the big events, and then maybe 1 or 2 here or there.
Isn't this normally the Worlds Collide time?
That was normally around Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
That took over the takeover Rumble 1.
Yeah.
So that's not happening.
No, you can't because the UK travel restrictions and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's hop around. Some quick hitters from the other places in wrestling this week. New Japan put on Wrestle Kingdom, 2-night event. It was a tremendous show, as Wrestle Kingdom always is. Did not disappoint. If you have not watched any of it, I will suggest going out and searching or YouTubing Ibushi and Naito from night 1, and then Ibushi and Jay White night 2. Not to say that the other matches on either those nights were not good enough, because the card as a whole both nights was definitely good, but if you're looking to see what New Japan is all about, I would suggest those 2 matches to get your first experience in New Japan. And apparently Jay White has quit the promotion, and he's rumored to be coming to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Me either, because that whole Switchblade gimmick is not going to run in WWE.
Yeah,
that name is going to run.
And then it's like, here we go again, another incarnation of the Bullet Club, probably. It's like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
If he comes to WWE, I think if he does come, I think he'll debut at the Rumble like AJ did, and then you throw him immediately on Raw.
No NXT?
No. Nope.
I don't know if he has the name value like AJ did.
He may not. He may not, but
not the casual fan.
He has the ability to jump on the scene and make a name for himself immediately. You need more. You need more star power on Raw. So if he does come, there's no reason to put him down in developmental. And honestly, I don't think he's coming in just to be in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So whether or not the rumors are true, but I mean, if they are, I think you have to put him on Raw. And that goes against the way they handle bringing people in. But
yeah,
the way that their roster is right now, like you have to have more people that can be stars, and I think Jay White can be a star if handled properly in WWE.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm interested to seeing what goes on with him, or it could even just be a shoot. Maybe it was just a way to make him think that he's leaving, and then he comes back.
Yeah. So there's that. But Wrestle Kingdom was done really well. I know the time difference makes it challenging to watch, but it was a good show, top to bottom. Moxley gave a promo, so I guess we will see him and Kenta at some point. It was a good promo. I thought Moxley's promos on both, New Japan and AEW this week were both some of his better promo work that he's done. Apparently he's going to go with this boogeyman character persona. He used it in both promos. They referenced it on commentary. So interesting to see what that reiteration of him is going to be moving forward. And then Impact, we have Genesis going on tonight. Their pay-per-view 1 week before Hard to Kill. You'll get the Super X Cup tournament. Tuesday night show was done really well. I enjoyed Tuesday night show. They had 4 of the contenders that are going to be in the tournament open up the show in a tag match. It was done really well. That tournament will be good. If you enjoy, Best of the Super Juniors and all that from New Japan and the Cruiserweight tournament, you will like the Best of the Super X. Jordan Grace against Jazz is also on the card tonight for Genesis. I may be missing a couple other matches, but Impact was done really well. Their show was good. I think they'll have a good, strong go home show next week before Hard to Kill, and we'll preview that and predict that show next week live after Impact and AEW on Wednesday night. Going into that card, and then Bandito signed with ROH. He re-signed his contract, which was expected after they bought in Bestia. So he's staying with ROH. And also MLW had Kings of the Coliseum on Wednesday night from 7 to 8. I watched it. I was a little disappointed. It came off more as just a regular weekly MLW Fusion show instead of like a mini pay-per-view feel, which I was hoping to get from that. Disappointing we didn't get a finish between Hammerstone and Kruger. I thought Leo Rush and Myron Reed was a good match. People really hate Leo Rush. It is what it is, but a lot of people do not like him and are very upset that Court Bauer brought him into MLW and put the belt on him.
Unless you're Topanga.
His number one fan.
That's disappointing. Still disappointing.
There was that.
He has a future in MLW.
He does. Like I said, him and Myron Reed, I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was, what them two were going to do in the ring together. Both are young. Both are under, I think both are under the age of 24. So they're both super young. That's something that can be a year-long feud between them two. And possibly, feud of the year for MLW moving forward there, potentially. And so that was Kings of the Coliseum. Next week, this upcoming week on MLW, we're getting a Selena De La Renta executive produced show. So hopefully, maybe we'll see the debut of Mil Muertes. If not, that'll come down the pipeline soon. So that's all I got for wrestling this week. I know we went longer than usual, but we had a lot of good back and forth, good banter, good in-team dissension and fighting there. But it looks like the brothers have made up at the end of the match. We'll see if next week we get a Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty turn when it comes to the bell. But anybody else?
We had that a couple times during our history, and it's always me through the up.
Did anybody else want to touch on the Sports Illustrated?
The Sports Illustrated list for Wrestler of the Year, Sasha Banks, number 1.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Sasha Banks, Sports Illustrated, Wrestler of the Year. That was probably the most, I guess. That's probably the list that I saw that ranked wrestlers from each promotion that I most agreed with.
I would have took Eddie often put Cole on. That I mean, it's splitting hairs, but yeah, the list is
Yeah, that was probably the most comprehensive and most agreeable list that I saw. Again, you can flip flop people at different numbers, but I thought a 1 through 10 list that was pretty legit.
Yeah.
All right,
so maybe what you're talking about.
And it looks like it's been rumored that there was going to be an NXT India promotion being created, at least special. But as of this morning, it was announced that it looks like the special is going to be called the WWE Superstar Spectacular. So
no doubt,
like India might be put on hold or test.
Yeah, so all our people in India that listen to the show, don't worry, the Dumb Marks got you covered. We will break down the specials for NXT India once it's fully launched, as well as the special that's gonna be premiering here shortly. So we got you guys covered. Stick with us. We'll be your go-tos for everything breakdown as far as NXT and WWE in India. Anybody got anything else? All right, folks. That was this week, Bell to Bell.
Chug, 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 chug.
All right, everybody. This week's Drink of the Week segment is brought to you by. I don't have anything this week, and that could be because of being blackout drunk from New Year's Eve. So we'll make this episode do the blackout drunk when you wake up in that moment in time where you point back and go, I remember nothing after 12:30.
So what did you tell me yesterday? What did you forget drinking that night?
Oh, so I did forget drinking. Apparently, New Year's Eve, as I said, I drank like I was 21 again. But apparently, not only did I basically finish off a bottle of Jack Daniel's honey, I cracked open Wild Turkey honey and was doing shots of that, as well as shots of Goldschlager. So that could be why I felt like death Friday morning whenever I woke up.
And
coming
out.
That's
Yeah.
that good old Fresh Space 21 coming out.
It was bad. It was bad. So this week we have Rusty Rail Brewing Luminous. It is a white chocolate and macadamia golden stout. I've never had a golden stout. We did preview Rusty Rail earlier in the year. We really enjoyed them and their beer. If you want to see that, go back into the archives on YouTube and look up that episode of the Drink of the Week segment. This is an 8.0 alcohol content, and it is in a nice large 16-ounce can.
Yeah.
I really like the can on this. This is really, really cool looking.
Yeah, I like the last can too. This is another 8%. So that's why I like stouts a lot of the time. I think they have good flavor and they're always high alcohol.
All right, Chris, you ready?
Let's do it.
I'm drinking out of the can. I saw you poured yours into a glass. Got a nice looking head over there. That's what she did. But let's bring up the Donald got water. Nice to see him there. Okay.
And then Jason's gonna give us a little extra drink of the week review with his Mountain Dew watermelon flavor. That's a good stout.
Yeah, I first sip, I didn't get any of the I didn't get any of like the macadamia in that, but after the second one, you can definitely taste it for sure.
Yeah, I mean it looks like an average lager beer. You know, it doesn't look like a normal stout at all.
Right.
As you see in the glass here. Yeah, this white, you get the smoothness of the chocolate. That's the first thing I noticed. I mean, it's a sweet smell before I drink it. Like I'm not really picking up a flavor, but I'm getting like a sweet smell to it. I'm getting the smoothness of the chocolate. I think the macadamia is following up in the aftertaste a little bit. It's not overpowering at all. It's not heavy. That's going to be the problem right here. This is an 8% beer. It's a stout. It's not heavy to drink. I think it actually drinks like a lager. It's real light. While I'm drinking it, this is a problem in a glass right here, especially with the can being a 16-ounce can and an 8%.
Yeah, I wish mine was just a little bit colder. I put it in the fridge late last night. It was in my basement, and my basement's colder anyway. So, but I wish it would have been a little bit colder for me. But for the first time drinking a white stout, I will definitely venture down that road.
Second time.
What was the first one?
Casper.
Oh yeah, that dumb Mark. Which we enjoyed as well, but we wish that one would have been out of a bottle because we got that. That was the nitro brewed. So
yeah.
But this is
my problem with the nitro was that there's not enough carbonation. This one, perfect. It's a
Rusty Rail is slowly becoming one of my favorite brands of beer to look for and buy. So kudos to them. I am all for this.
It doesn't say anything about coffee in the can at all for anything, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a coffee flavor while I'm drinking it too. But
yeah, that
could just be a traditional stout flavor. Though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 4 for me on the Sumo scale. I'll go with a 4. Like I said, if it was a little bit colder, I would enjoy it more. But as far as flavor goes and taste, it is a delicious beer. I will definitely recommend you guys go out and find this if you can, if it's sold in your area for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just doing this live on here, I had the can sitting out a little bit before we could review it. So yeah, it's not as cold as I would like it to be, but I'm not gonna factor that in. Flavor, drinkability, alcohol percentage, everything. I think I'm gonna go 4.25.
Okay, all right. So high praise here from the Dumb Marks on the Sumo scale for Rusty Rails Luminous, which is the white chocolate and macadamia golden stout. I did before Jason. I haven't ate anything yet today. Before Jason gives his breakdown of the new Mountain Dew flavor, this ties into what I said in the intro between Fat Kids and beer. So I saw this week that Dunkaroos is now making Dunka Brews.
No.
Okay. Right?
Come on, man.
Who's making it?
So it is
mixing coffee with shit.
It is a beer brewed with actual cookies, cream, and sprinkles. It is an ale with cookies, vanilla cream, and sprinkles. It is an 8% alcohol volume content. It is let me see what the name is on this can. It is brewed and canned by Martin House Brewing Company in Fort Worth, Texas. Well, I don't know if we'll see that up in the upper Northeast here, being in Pittsburgh. But yes, if you're a fan of Dunkaroos, by all means go out and get a can of Dunka Brews and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear if anybody's able to try this. Let us know what you think of the flavor, the taste, and hopefully we can get this. Maybe somebody will send us a couple cans or we're able to find it up here locally somehow. But by all means, if anybody's listening and wants to give this beer a try, reach out to us and let us know what you think so we can give a follow-up on a future Drink of the Week segment.
And then I don't know if for Jason, I don't know if you knew this Mountain Dew that you're drinking isn't like a special limited edition or seasonal. This is supposedly permanent.
Oh, make it limited. Make it limited. Like if you had like a party at like Leaps and Bounds or Discovery Zone when you were a kid, and like, oh shit, I got the major melon Mountain Dew. Okay, that's the drink for you. It's good. Then as an adult, nah. It tastes like I don't want to say Fruity's watermelon, close to it,
Okay.
Like it's twisted tongue, but then it's like all the Mountain Dew aftertaste after that.
Okay.
It's like, nah. If you got it free, I'll take a can. I'm not going out the back.
All right. Well, that
I'm
was
not a fan of Mountain Dew, but they've had some decent flavors.
so that was the first ever pop review on the Drink of the Week segment. And yes, I said pop, not soda. All right. It's not soda, it's pop. And anybody that wants to fight me on that, we can square up and go at it because it's pop, not soda.
Who said soda?
Pop.
Ace.
Just me.
Of course you did. You're WWE.
I'm always the odd guy, ain't I?
All right.
I'm like the guy who buys Dune instead of an Apple iPhone.
So wait. So what would you rank that on the sumo scale? 1 to 5 sumos. What would you give the major Mountain Dew Major Melon?
I'm gonna give it 2.
All right, a 2. So there you go. If you guys see that in your local grocery store, you want to pick it up based on Jason's review, go ahead. If not, pass it by because he only gave it a 2. But you will.
As you can see, my opinion is invalid on here, so you might want to try it.
All right. And that's it for Drink of the Week this week. We ask that you pick up your bottles, cans, brown paper bags, 40 ounces, shot glasses, pop cans, whatever you're drinking with this week. Raise them high as to good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the seas, but the best ships are friendships, and friends will always be. Salute, fella. All right, this week in sports, obviously it's a big football weekend as the NFL wild card, super wild card weekend gets kicked off with 3 games today on Saturday, as well as 3 games tomorrow on Sunday. We will jump into that a little bit later on. There were a couple things that got announced this week that I want to bring up in sports. Just to talk about here quickly, we can give our thoughts on any one of these. In the world of boxing, I don't know, on DAZN, I believe it was last weekend or the weekend before, internet sensation, Instagram fame, boxer Ryan Garcia. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he's a young up-and-coming fighter, fought on the card and knocked out his opponent with a body shot, which was one of the more powerful body shots that I've seen in a boxing match. But him and Gervonta Davis have now agreed to fight each other. If you're familiar with Mike Tyson's podcast that he does with Jeremy Piven, go on and search it out. This past week, he had Ryan Garcia on, and while Ryan Garcia was on the show live, Gervonta Davis FaceTimed into Mike Tyson, and them two had an Ali Frazier, Ali Foreman type verbal jab battle back and forth. This is a fight that I'm looking forward to seeing. Apparently, it is done. I don't know if signatures are on the contracts, but it will be a fight to look forward to in the near future. I know boxing has been making headlines again with all the stuff going on with the Paul brothers and YouTube sensations fighting Nate Robinson and calling out Conor McGregor and that. But there has been some really good boxing on lately. I've caught, very good matches on ESPN. They do a great job covering the sport again. Heavyweights may lack a little bit as far as star power right now, but as far as the lower class weights go, you do have some up and coming fighters and stars that are now being seen on a national level again. So hopefully boxing can come back into the picture as being one of the major sports that people talk about on a regular basis. I'm super excited to see this Garcia and Davis fight, though. Like I can't wait for that. They really. It seems like there's true animosity and hatred there, which always makes a fight a little bit better.
Yeah, I watch like the big fights when they're on. It's very rare that I just watch a random boxing event. I remember back in the day whenever HBO had boxing every Saturday night, boxing after dark, whatever it was. And I used to enjoy that, so I wouldn't mind seeing boxing again. UFC really took over that. They kind of made boxing be on the back burner. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to transition over, 2020, we saw some of the whatever left was the doors of women kicking them down in sports. We saw some of those get kicked down with major things that have gone on in sports over the course of 2020 with women, as far as coaches go, as far as broadcasters go, as far as owners of a sports league go. And this week was no different. And this one hits home because it is it's relative to a Swickley native, which is what Swickley's north of Pittsburgh a little bit, out there by
like Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest. So, former Swickley native Bianca Smith has made baseball history. Smith, who is 29 years old, was hired as a coach for the Boston Red Sox Player Development Complex at Fort Myers, Florida. This makes her the first minority female coach in professional baseball. So, round of applause to Pittsburgh native Bianca Smith. Congratulations to you for becoming the first women's minority coach in professional baseball. Again, another door and barrier that has been kicked down. Her name will go down in history as being the first in a time and an era where firsts are hard to achieve. So congratulations to her. Happy for her. And I'm happy, as I said before, I've said it many times on this podcast when talking about women in sports. The days of it being, oh, you're a girl, you don't know, that's over and done with. And we see that throughout all professional sports. Glad to see her getting a chance to hop in baseball, and kicking down that barrier. And, her name now is going to be, synonymous with Jackie Robinson as far as being a minority in baseball, is the first one to do it.
Yeah. Like you said, it's very tough to do first these days. And it's good to see so many women doing it.
Yep. New addition to the Red Sox community.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Obviously,
you don't like the Red Sox at all, right?
Huh?
You don't like the Red Sox at all, right?
Nah, not at all. You guys know me. Nah. I'm more of a Pirates fan. Remember that?
I do.
Surprised that pennant's not hanging behind his head.
All right, so before we jump into NFL, Tuesday we saw the Heisman Trophy winner given out, and this year's Heisman Trophy, rightfully so, went to Devontae Smith, first wide receiver to win the Heisman Trophy since I believe 1991. Congratulations to him. The year he put up was insane. I will say this: he shouldn't be the first wide receiver since 1991 to win the award. Okay. No. Larry Fitzgerald, the year he lost to Jason White for the Heisman Trophy, his year in 2003, he had, this is college, he had 92 catches, 1,672 yards, 22 touchdowns. He scored a touchdown in every single regular season game. And he lost the Heisman Trophy winner to Oklahoma quarterback Jason White.
It was just because they was undefeated that year, like always.
It's ridiculous. What I said about the Heisman Trophy winner, it's a quarterback award. Obviously, if you put up those type of numbers in college, who was his quarterback in 2003? Rob Rutherford?
Yep.
Yeah, Rob Rutherford throwing to him. And he put up 92 catches, over 1,600 yards, and 22 touchdowns. That's insane. It's an insane season for a college student, for a college football player. And he didn't win the Heisman. But congratulations to Devontae Smith. Not to take anything away from his season. I said going into it, he should win the Heisman. He got voted AP Player of the Year. First time wide receivers won that award for being college football's best player. So, I think it's well-deserved. If it was going to be a year for somebody other than a quarterback to win the Heisman, this was definitely the year based off of what he did.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he was the best player. He won all the other awards too. The AP player, the Walter Camp, Heisman.
It was a clean
pop winner. He was everything. So
I will be interested to see if he's the first wide receiver taken off the board in this year's draft. would he have had the season he had if Jalen Waddle doesn't break his ankle and he's out for the year with Alabama? Don't know. But the fact that Alabama's receiving core the last 2 years were Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Speaking of Alabama, we have the national championship game upcoming here Monday night, Alabama against Ohio State. I'm not sure what the spread is on the game. I haven't looked at it yet, but I know Alabama is favored. Predictions for that game, I don't know how many players from Ohio State are out with COVID or if they're still battling that. Going into it, apparently there were some suggestions that they may push the national championship game back, but the college football playoff said, nope, it's Monday night. You're going to play regardless of who you have in the lineup. So predictions going around the horn real quick. Who you got, Alabama or Ohio State? I'll go with Chris. Who you got?
You're going to hate me for it, but I'm going to Ohio State.
Bold. Not bold.
Didn't even think that they were going to get here, so I think they're just going to take it all.
All right, Jason, who you got?
I'm going to go with Alabama. I don't want to see Ohio State there. Nah.
Donald?
Not after this season, no.
I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan, so I should say Ohio State because Alabama is one of our biggest rivals, but I hate Ohio State with all my passion. I hated them before even I was a Tennessee fan. So Alabama, roll Tide.
Yeah, I've been saying all year long Alabama's the best team in college football. Whether or not Ohio State's at 100%, I don't know. I don't think Ohio State offensively can keep up with Alabama offensively. I mean, Bama's averaging almost 50 points a game. So that tells you the story right there. Give me Bama. I don't know if they'll cover based on the spread because I haven't seen it, but I'll go with Bama as this year's national champion. One quick note in basketball that I saw that was interesting. The Utah Jazz owner came out, Ryan Smith, on his intentions to leverage the NBA's platform. He said for every Jazz win this year, they're offering a 4-year scholarship to an underrepresented or minority kid who can now go to college. So kudos to Ryan Smith, owner of the Utah Jazz, for stepping up. NBA is on the forefront of social issues, whether you agree or disagree. That's your personal preference. I'm only going to pull out and spotlight the positive things that I see that I think are good. And this is one step that an owner has taken. We see
And they're actually good.
Huh?
And they're actually good.
Yeah, they're good. So we see LeBron with his academy. I know Jalen Rose has had a school for a long time in the Michigan area that's done what LeBron has done with sending kids to college. So kudos to them. Kudos to Jazz owner Ryan Smith for stepping up and doing this. Well taken, well deserved, and good job on using your platform to influence and give kids a chance that may not have that chance otherwise. So kudos to you. We appreciate you for doing that. So then I guess we can go ahead and get into it. NFL playoffs this week. 3 games today on the slate, 3 games tomorrow. The Bills and Colts will get ready to kick off here in about 10 or 20 minutes or so as we record. Some highlights from the season, just to throw some numbers out there. Derrick Henry finished with over 2,000 yards. He becomes the 8th running back all time to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. The interesting thing is he rushed for 2,027 yards total, okay? Of that 2,027 yards, 1,076 yards came in the second half. So if you only take his second half numbers, he still rushed for over 1,000 yards. That's ridiculous when you think about it. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And they said, too, if he took his second half total, he would have been the 4th leading rusher in the league, too.
Yeah. Not only did he lead the league in rushing, but if you only took his second half numbers, he would have finished 4th. It's insane. I've had him on my fantasy team the last 2 years, and I mean, God bless you, Derrick Henry, you man child. Like,
And they say he's the first to run over 2,000 in all three levels.
Yes.
I'm not
yes,
sure how true it is, but
high school, college, and NFL, he's rushed for over 2,000 yards. His
I'm
senior,
surprised nobody else has done it.
his senior year in high school,
You ran for like 4,000.
he rushed for over 4,000 yards his senior year in high school. How would you like to feel to tackle Derrick Henry in high school?
They're playing Carmelsville.
Ooh, shots.
Some other numbers, some other stats from the season that jumped off the page that I thought were interesting. The Steelers finished first in the league with sacks. They have 56 sacks for the year. Since 2017, their defense has had 56 sacks, 52 sacks, 54 sacks, and 56 sacks. No defense has matched those totals over a 4-year span. So obviously they've created a ton of pressure on the quarterback, and they're going to need that in their game tomorrow against the Browns. And then Aaron Rodgers, who many believe will be named the MVP for the NFL this year, given his season, he threw for 48 touchdowns. The Green Bay Packers have only punted 46 times during the year. He threw for more touchdowns than they have punted, which I thought was a pretty crazy stat over a 16-game season. So yeah, that's where I'm at with some of the numbers for the NFL for the year.
And speaking of the Steelers defense too, TJ Watt still won't win the Defensive Player of the Year.
He has
Probably
to.
not.
He has to.
Probably
He
not.
has to, but you know he won't.
Aaron Donald.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Aaron Donald, when you stack the numbers side by side, doesn't hold a candle to TJ Watt this year.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly think TJ Watt will win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I strongly believe that. He should have won it last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should have won it last year, and this year has been just as good as last year. So I will hang my hat and walk out on that ledge moving forward. So let's jump into the games this week, shall we? We got the Bills and Colts kicking off here. Like I said,
Bills.
tonight. Then we have who else plays today? Bills and Colts are on.
Washington and Tampa is tonight.
Yep, Washington and Tampa Bay is tonight, and
Chase Young wants Brady. I want to see it.
I forget who the middle game is.
Seattle and
Seattle and Los Angeles.
Yeah, Indy and Buffalo's on at 1:00. Seattle and the Rams are on at 4:40, and Tampa Bay and Washington are on at 8:15. Tomorrow we have Baltimore and Tennessee at 1:00. The Bears and Saints at 4:00, and the Steelers and Browns in the nightcapper at 8:15. Real quick, let's run through. We'll predict the games this week, and then after that, I want to get your guys' Super Bowl predictions going forward. So for today, first game, and we'll go around the horn. Chris, Jason, and Donald. Colts at Bills. Who you got? Straight up, no spread. Just pick a winner.
I got Bills.
Chris is going with Bills. Jason,
Bills.
Donald.
Bills.
I mean, they are truly one of the hottest teams rolling into the playoffs that we've seen. I believe they won 9 out of their last 10 games to close out the year. Maybe more. Our brother from Sip Sip Chug out there. I know he was a Bills Mafia fan that started drinking last night for the game today. Indianapolis is, for being a 7 seed in the playoffs and being 11-5. That's crazy to think that you're a 7 seed and you're 11-5 getting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tough tough draw for the Bills coming out the gate. I don't think that they would have wanted to play the Colts right away just because the Colts have a defense and an offense that can negate what Buffalo does well. Be interesting to see how this game really goes. But with that being said, I'm going to go with the Bills as well. Clean sweep. Rams and Seahawks, 4 o'clock. Who you got? Chris.
I think I want to go with the Rams.
Okay. Jason.
Seahawks.
Donald.
Since it's a rivalry game and it's your third time playing, I'm going with the Rams this time.
I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because Jared Goff to actually play with a broken thumb. I don't know how he'll be able to grip the ball well and get it out, let alone, being hit and tackled, how that thumb's gonna hold up. I just, Russell Wilson in the playoffs is pretty good, so I'll go with the Seahawks. Then the nightcap of the night, Tampa Bay and Washington. Who you got?
Tampa.
I'm going Washington. I want to see it.
I'm going with the upset too. I'm going Washington.
I don't know if Washington can score as many points as they need to beat Tampa Bay. I love their pass defense. Their run defense is a little suspect. I believe if you look back during the regular season with the games that the Buccaneers lost, Brady does not like pressure, and the teams that have beat them have been able to get pressure on him, which that front four for sure can do for Washington.
Is Evans going?
I don't know. I think he's still a game-time decision. That doesn't necessarily swing it one way or the other for me. It's whether or not the O-line from Tampa Bay can block Washington in pass coverage. Tampa Bay would be smarter to lean on the run more, give Ronald Jones the ball. But, I mean, it's Brady. Washington, this would be a huge upset. So I'll go with Tampa Bay as well. Sunday games here, and you guys can run through these real quick. I got to step out for a minute. Baltimore, Tennessee, Chicago, New Orleans, and then Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Go ahead, Chris.
What do we want to go first? Baltimore game?
Yeah, Baltimore and Tennessee.
I like Titans. I'm a fan of Tennessee, but I think I'm going to go Baltimore on that.
Jason?
I'm going Titans. I don't want to see Lamar. They'll probably win, but I want to see the Titans. That's what I'm
Yeah, I'm going to go as the Titans as well. I just think that they have Baltimore's number right now after losing in the playoffs last year and losing in the season this year. I'm thinking Titans.
Okay.
So the second one was Chicago Bears against the New Orleans Saints.
Gotta go Saints.
Saints. Sweep on this one.
Yes, Saints for sure. Especially with Kamara coming back from his COVID case. Definitely. Their offense is just way too powerful.
Is Thomas back?
I'm not sure yet. He might be game time decision.
Too many big time game time decision players.
There is.
Welcome to the 2020-2021 season.
Yeah, they're keeping it in the back pocket just in case.
Right.
And then we got the nightcap, the one we were worried about. Steelers and Browns.
There's a reason to be worried, I think. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I'm going to go with the Steelers just because, but it's going to be an interesting game.
I'm going with the Steelers. I don't think Browns are still, and even if they were full powered, had enough to take on the Steelers.
I'm going with the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers as well. But as you know, our offense is sometimes so suspect. I'm going to be a little worried, but I'm going Steelers.
All right, so I'll run through my picks real quick. Give me Tennessee just because I hate Baltimore. Although Baltimore is, they're coming in on a win streak here. They had to win out to get into the playoffs. It's just I don't trust Lamar Jackson to be able to throw and beat me. So if you can control the clock with Derrick Henry, run the ball, they played a close overtime game earlier in the year between the two. I know Baltimore with the whole they was stomping on our logo before that game. They came in and smacked them in the mouth last year and beat them in the playoffs. But till Lamar Jackson can prove that he can throw and win in the playoffs, I think that Tennessee can win there. New Orleans, give me the Saints. I don't know. Drew Brees, I believe, is done after this year. He's going to go into the booth and either call games or coach games as a coach in high school. But I think New Orleans here, they get a dub. Alvin Kamara is playing, so that's obviously a huge boost to them and their offense. And then in the nightcap, the Steelers, I want to say this is going to be a beatdown of the Browns. And the last time the Browns were in the playoffs, they played the Steelers. And that game was re-aired last night. That stadium was crazy, electric. And trivia note, do you know what transpired in that game for the first time when the Browns met the Steelers in the playoffs?
No.
Do not know.
Good.
It was the first time ever that Renegade was played.
Hmm.
Steelers took the lead 36-33 with under a minute to go. And as the announcers are talking about the touchdown the Steelers scored and the special teams are coming out on the field, Renegade is played for the very first time. The towels are waving. People are going crazy. And it ends as soon as Jeff Reed kicks the ball off. So that was the birth of Renegade. And as we know it today, which gets played in the fourth quarter.
A whole nother atmosphere.
I've been to Steeler games, and when Renegade comes on, you get goosebumps when you're in.
Like you get outside of the Steeler game and you're ready to go. You're like,
yeah.
what?
Other teams have their songs. I know New England, they play Ozzy and that, but there's just something about Renegade when it comes on and you hear the doom 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 doom, and you hear that oh mama and the goosebumps and the chills. Like,
right now.
Let's go! I'll go outside and do Oklahoma's with my son after this is over.
Once you hear that scream in the song, that just pumps you right up.
So yeah, but Cleveland obviously battling COVID. Their coach is out. Players are out on the offensive side and defensive side, missing a starting offensive lineman, missing their safety. Who knows if the D tackle and wide receiver Higgins that got arrested for drag racing earlier in the week, if they're playing. I haven't heard anything more about that. Apparently there was marijuana found as well. I'm not sure. So by all indications, this is a game the Steelers should win.
Yeah.
But we know the Steelers don't like to make anything easy. And we know watching a Steelers football game can shave years off your life. Your blood pressure rises, the heartbeat skips a few beats, and it's like, what the hell are you doing to me when you should be blowing this team out? In the end, I think TJ Watt and that defensive line will be able to pressure Baker Mayfield if they can control the run game and not let Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt go off on them. Steelers have a great chance to win. I think Ben throws 2+ touchdowns. That's a prop bet on FanDuel. So if you're a betting man, hop on there and take that. So give me the Steelers over the Browns. And then going forward, who do you have coming out of the AFC and the NFC to meet in the Super Bowl, and who is your Super Bowl champion?
Oh, man.
Let's go around the other way on this one.
But you want to be the first one, Chris?
No, I don't.
I'll start. First of all, Chiefs aren't winning the Super Bowl.
What?
They're beatable.
What?
They're beatable. Chiefs are beatable.
Better tell the people on ESPN and Fox about that.
I'm gonna be a homer, as always. I'm going Steelers, Packers.
Rematch.
I want that rematch.
Oh,
Right,
man.
Steelers,
Jeez.
Packers.
It's really good.
Steelers, Packers. Who you got, Jay?
I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
All right.
Homer
Stairway to 7 is complete in Jason's eyes. Donald.
yes.
You see, you was reading my same wavelength there. I go Steelers and Packers also. And this time, the Steelers get the Packers. Revenge for Super Bowl, what was it, 50? Or not 50, 40 something.
Yeah, the ice bowl, the snow bowl in Dallas, which Dallas had snow, shut the city down. Pittsburgh and Green Bay are playing, so go figure. Chris, who you got?
I don't know if this is who I got, but it seems like everybody's picking Kansas City and Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl this year. So I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go Kansas City, Tampa, and Kansas City winning.
If you're going to change it up, change it all the way up.
So no NFL team that plays in the city that hosts the Super Bowl has actually made it to the Super Bowl that year in that that hometown and has won or lost the Super Bowl. No team has been able to do that. So if Devin Bush and Bud Dupree are healthy, I would strongly consider the Steelers to get to the Super Bowl, if not win it all. I have to look at it objectively and leave my heart out of it. I don't see the Steelers winning the Super Bowl this year, given their deficiencies with running the ball on offense and losing, two of your best defensive players on that side of the ball. So I will go with this is so AFC wise. I'll go with the Chiefs. To me, that offense, they lost two games all year. The last game of the season against the Chargers didn't count. The game they lost to the Raiders scored over 40 points. I think it's going to take a 40-point game for you to beat the Chiefs, and I just don't see that happening with anybody. So give me Kansas City. On the AFC and the NFC, Green Bay has looked really good all year. Whether or not that defense can hold up and not get gashed in the run, their pass defense, their secondary is tremendous. They're giving up, the fewest yards to wide receivers in the league. Jair Alexander is arguably one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Everybody has to go through Lambeau to make it to the Super Bowl, which is tough in and of itself. Rodgers has never had home field advantage throughout the playoffs in his career. Green Bay will definitely be a tough out. With that being said, it's rare that you get chalk on both sides of the ball. In that instance, the heartbreak in New Orleans is over. You guys are going to go to the Super Bowl. No more last-second touchdown to Stephon Diggs. No more push-offs in the back of the end zone by Kyle Rudolph. The New Orleans Saints will make it to the Super Bowl to face the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got the Chiefs going back-to-back Super Bowl champs for the first time since, I believe, the Patriots went back-to-back? In the early 2000s. So there it is. There's our predictions for the NFL playoffs. Take them as you will. All four of us are probably wrong, and we'll get, Tennessee against freaking Seattle in the Super Bowl. If that happens, I will definitely come back on the show and say, see, I told you it was going to be the Seahawks and the Titans. So with that, enjoy the games this weekend. Enjoy the games today, tomorrow, National Championship Monday. A lot of football. So if you're a football junkie, it's going to be a great 3 days. If not, sucks to be you. Your life must be horrible. And that is This Week in Sports.
All right, boys and girls, thanks for tuning into episode 19 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Remember that we are live every Saturday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So please subscribe, like, and follow all our social media pages so you get alerts each week when we go live. Our audio-only edition of the podcast is released every Monday to listen on demand on all your favorite podcast platforms. And gentlemen, before Steve sends it home with us today, just a couple more things to cover. Steve, one thing we didn't cover in sports, NHL starts this upcoming week, this upcoming Wednesday, the 13th. So for all you hockey fans, look forward to that.
Two more things I forgot about in sports too. Tommy Lasorda died over the week. So
Yeah.
rest in peace to him. And Jim Harbaugh signed a new 5-year deal with Michigan.
Yeah, it's for half his salary. It's for $4 million instead of $8 million. He has incentives that can get him back up to $8 million. So he definitely takes a pay cut. I'm surprised that they re-signed him given the year that he had. I'm sure he spun it as in, COVID, XYZ. He has definitely been a disappointment since he got to Michigan. He has not propelled that program back to national prominence as they were hoping for. He has never beaten Ohio State, and he has a losing record against Michigan State. So your two biggest rivals, you have not won or hold a winning record against. Anywhere else, that gets you fired. I don't know if he leveraged the potential of him going to take over the Lions coaching job in the NFL as a reason why they re-signed him. But the billionaires in Ann Arbor and Michigan that fund that college and university, $4 million is nothing to them. Ann Arbor is probably one of, if not the nicest college campuses in America. It's literally billionaires everywhere you turn, right and left. So the money's a drop in a bucket. I'm just surprised that they gave him another 4-year extension.
All right, and then one last thing before we wrap it up. We got a new game to play for the outro today. It's pretty simple. It's going to be called One Gotta Go.
One Gotta Go. You guys see this list popping up on your social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Gives you a list of categories. You got to pick one. One gotta go. We're going to do this from time to time here, maybe on a weekly basis for you guys. Chime in, let us know, comment which one you will get the bleep out of here. And we will go ahead and run through this first one here. Go ahead, Chris.
So I'm not going to lie. The first two were political, so I was like, we're going to skip those. So I moved on to the third part.
So those were the ones to go, right? Like, we don't even have to play this week. Those were the ones.
That's it. It's over.
So
Gotcha.
basically, the game says there's multiple ways that you can play. I think the easiest way for us to play this is we'll just go down the line. We'll each pick one that's going to go, and we'll see what we all thought about it. So as you see on the screen, one gotta go. A, family functions. B, birthday parties. C, wedding receptions. Or D, guys and ladies night out. Let's start with Steve and work our way up.
All right. So as the only married man on this podcast, okay, as the only married man with podcast, C and D are staying. Wedding receptions are a blast. Especially in Pittsburgh, you get the cookie tables and you run through with your to-go boxes and you scoop up cookies that'll last you for 6 months. All right. Not to mention, most of the wedding receptions that I go to, especially around here, are open bar. So not only do you get a bunch of cookies to go, but it is open bar. Normally good stuff to drink, and it is a great time. So wedding receptions are staying. Guys and ladies night out, as a married man, you need those. Okay, to keep your marriage productive and not wanting to kill each other, you need guys and ladies night out. You have to have time with your friends. You can't be with your significant other 24/7. You'll kill each other. COVID has been a strain as far as being around your significant other if you're married, especially married with kids. But if you have made it through COVID and you are a married man, then you know that your marriage likely will last a lifetime, because anybody that didn't get through 10 plus months or more being stuck in the house with your significant other and not have a divorce yet, that's true love. So C and D are staying. Family functions and birthday parties. This one's a little tough for me. This one's a little tough for me because I have kids and my kids have friends. So not only do we have their birthday parties, but they also get invited to their friends' birthday parties. And kids' birthday parties, Yeah, those can be hit or miss. Family functions. If you're married and you don't like your in-laws, it is a long day in the park. Let me tell you. Okay. I unfortunately do not have that issue. I like my in-laws. I like hanging out with my in-laws. My in-laws like me. So in that instance,
I like how you
I'm
turn
okay
that.
with going to family functions. All right. I'll sit there. We'll play, games, domino, spades, whatever, get out on the grill. Normally music's playing, all that jazz. Good time, right? I'm gonna go with birthday parties B. Those can go. I had a birthday during COVID. My son had his birthday, my wife had her birthday, and my daughter's getting ready to have her birthday later on this month, all during COVID. And what it really boiled down to is that parents blow way too much money throwing birthday parties for their kids.
Yep.
My son turned 16. We had plans to do it at a park and the whole 9 yards, shebang. Everything got shut down. It was literally us four and grandma, grandpa type deal, and he was fine with it, enjoyed himself. We had a good time. My daughter's birthday, I've asked her what she's wanted to do. No real thoughts or insights. She's cool with whatever, and that's good to know. So from a sheer wallet purpose, birthdays can go. Parents, don't drop $500, $600, $700, $800 on birthday parties. It's not worth it.
All right, Donald, what do you got?
For me, I love family functions, especially with my family. It's like being at a comedy show 24/7. It is hilarious on both sides. Guys' night out, like Steve said, you need that. You need to be with the fellas sometimes. Wedding receptions is the key. I love wedding receptions, having fun. You find that little bridesmaid or something that you've been eyeing up since the ceremony, So birthday parties have to go for me because I can't stand screaming kids. I do not like that. Like Steve said, families drop way too much money for a 1-year-old birthday that they're never going to remember. Birthday parties got to go. And I don't even celebrate my birthday, so there's no point of it anymore.
All right, Jason.
Okay, let me see. Family's night, or not family's night, family functions. Love them. I don't do nothing but sit at the table and eat, but I still love to be around the family and the conversation. Birthday parties, that's the one that got to go. I can't stand the birthday song in general. And plus, our birthday parties are pretty much guys' night outs, or wrestling nights, and wedding receptions. Like the 3 favorite words, it's open bar. Once you hear that, open bar, 6ix9ine on the floor. It's a good day.
All right.
Hey, nothing like getting the cha-cha slide and electric slide back to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
You gotta put the
one right now, but it's hey,
You got to put the wobble in there too. Can't forget about that.
From the back, so. All right, so family functions. I don't like everybody in my family, but I agree. The food's good. The conversation can usually be a good time. Birthday parties, no. Like, we're of that age that we don't need to go out. Like you guys said, it ends up being a guy's night out anyways. Wedding receptions, I'll agree for the open bar. That's about it. I mean, the cookie table too, but usually the food's trash at most places, just like, simple food. And then you definitely need that guy's night out, especially as we get older, everybody gets married, has kids. It's tough to schedule and get everybody together. So that's key from time to time. So I'll agree. B, birthday parties. That's got to go.
Clean.
All right. So there is a clean sweep across the board for the first edition of One Gotta Go. B, birthday parties. Those of you guys watching, play along with us. Let us know what you think, which one you would say gotta go. And with that, we'll roll into the end of the show here. Find us on all social media platforms. Engage with us. Let us know. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. On YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you get notifications when we drop live episodes. Also, reach out and email us at dumbmarkspod@gmail.com. Send us your questions, your concerns, your interests. We'll read them off on the air here. Like we said, we want to make this as live and interactive as possible. Gentlemen, if you guys don't have anything else, then I will roll into closing the show. Last words before we shut this bitch down for this week.
Get better, Dr. Dre. He had that aneurysm in the beginning of the week.
Yeah, he pulled through. 2021 has gotten off to a shaky start first week. Needless to say, losing Dr. Dre right out the gates would not have been a good thing. Not at all. So with that, we'll close the show with your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better with change. And with that, thanks for tuning in this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And until next weekend, we'll catch you around the way.